WYSH.com.
Today's Daily Encouragement by William the Encourager, sponsored by Ted Russell Nissan, home of the lifetime warranty on Kingston Pike.
Hello, my brothers and sisters. It is Friday. Oh, praise God, praise God. And see, you thought you wouldn't make it through. It's Friday already, and your mindset is beginning to change. You're beginning to have a new attitude. You're beginning to have your thoughts lifted. You're beginning to think higher, to look forward to the day, and to understand that the Lord is guiding you, and He is protecting you, and He is leading you into a brand new day, a brand new mindset. Remember that paradigm shift. That paradigm shift changes your position with God. It changes who you are. It gives you confidence in God's promises, love for God and His people, inner peace and identity, strategy for success, and courage to walk in your destiny. So thank you this morning, Father God. Lord, now go before us and make the crooked path straight. Go before us, Holy Spirit. Thank you. It is in Jesus' name that we pray. And remember, faith breaks limitation. Faith breaks limitation. And we need to understand that, because if we can grasp that, we'll begin to understand how strong, how great our God is. How great is our God. Yes, how great is our God. Mark chapter 9, verse 23 says, Jesus said unto him, if you can believe, all things are possible to him who believes. Do you believe today, my brothers and sisters? If you can believe, all things are possible. All things are possible, my brothers and sisters. All you have to do is believe. Do you know that there are blessings associated with believing? Matthew 8:13 says, and Jesus said unto the centurion, go your way, and as you have believed, so be it done unto you. And his servant was healed in the self-same hour. Believing. Jesus said, as you have believed, so it is done. That paradigm shift, that servant, that person had a new understanding when Jesus said, as you believe, so be it done unto you. And his servant was healed in the same hour. Will you believe? Will you believe today that nothing is impossible? Will you have victorious faith today? Will you have that victorious faith to know that Psalms 91:7 says 1,000 may fall at your side and 10,000 at your right hand, but it shall not come near you? Can you believe? Will you have a paradigm shift today and begin to believe that no weapon formed against you shall prosper? If God has called you to it, He will bring you through it, because there is nothing too hard for God. Jeremiah 33:3 says, call on me, and I will hear you and show you great and mighty things. Will you call on Him today? Will you trust Him to guide you and to lead you into this new year? Will you trust in a God that formed, that put the stars in the sky, that holds the sun in its place, that caused the moon to come out at night? Will you believe in a God like that? I do. So remember, there's a way out of your mess, and it's JESUS.
Where can you buy a brand new Nissan with a lifetime warranty? Kingston Pike. Hey folks, Gerald Anderson with Ted Russell Nissan. You heard it right. Every new Ted Russell Nissan comes with a lifetime warranty, and that's a long, long time. Ted Russell Nissan on Kingston Pike.
Good morning and welcome to AM 1380 WYSH and Ask Your Neighbor. Ask Your Neighbor can also be heard and seen on our website, WYSHradio.com. And if you are in Anderson, Rome, or Morgan County and have Comcast cable, you can watch Ask Your Neighbor on BBB TV Channel 12. Ask Your Neighbor is the program where you call in and do just that. Ask Your Neighbor. Do you have a comment? Do you have a problem? Or do you have a question? Then call in and ask your neighbor. 865-457-1380 or toll free at 877-711-4005. And for those of you that might be listening or watching on the internet, you can email from our website, WYSHradio.com. Just click on the Contact Us button and email your questions. Now sit back and listen as listeners throughout East Tennessee and the entire world answer your questions on Ask Your Neighbor on BBB TV 12 and AM 1380 WYSH.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Here we are. It is a finally Friday edition of Ask Your Neighbor, and it's our pleasure to be along here with you. And I hope that you guys are going to make plans to stick around here with me today as we, hopefully, have a good show. Tim Isbell, County Commissioner, and Shane Val, both County Commissioner and Chairman of the Library Board, have joined us today. Morning, boys. How are you this morning?
Good.
Good.
How are you?
I'm good. So far, so good.
Well, that's right.
We started a conversation yesterday that you guys kind of pick up on and do with what you want to do with. But is there anything, before we get started, anything you guys just want to tell folks about before we start off on all this other stuff? Anything on your mind going on that we need to talk about?
Yeah, Ron, first I want to talk is just as Tim Isbell.
Gotcha.
Period.
Yeah.
Not as commissioner. And what this, try to do without getting so emotional.
Okay.
What it means, in my life.
Sure.
Of course, I got 2 grandchildren, that I just adore.
Absolutely.
Want to be 4.
Mm-hmm.
Summer, one that's 8 months now. And my daughter recently graduated from LMU. She lives at home with me with the grandkids.
Yeah.
And she recently graduated from LMU with a degree in nursing.
Gotcha.
Of course, they're young, and I wanted her to spend time with them.
Well, sure.
Young age.
Absolutely.
So, and this all happened the day before we talked about it on the radio, about the books, okay?
Gotcha.
She sent me a text, said, listen to Luke Combs, Days Like These.
Yeah, good song.
I don't think I've ever really thanked you for all you do for us. I'm really...
It's hard.
Yeah. So thankful I've been able to stay home with the kids while they've been so young. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I've been working late, 7 days a week, took Christmas off, half a day Thanksgiving. Just got 2 families to support, really.
Yeah.
And it's a blessing to be able to do it. Well, I get home, and I hadn't seen Colton in a few days. So
That's 4-year-old. That's Papa.
Here he comes jumping. He's so excited. He wasn't that excited on Christmas, okay? And, he wants to go in. He goes into my room, and we watch monster trucks, And he's sitting there, and he's watching monster trucks. And he's getting into it, and he's making all these hand signs and stuff. And I'm looking at him, and I'm saying, he's so innocent.
Yeah,
At 3 years old, he's so innocent. He's so wholesome. He's not been out in the real world yet, okay?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, how do I protect that? And then I go back to that text, and I think, God's blessed me so much with a family like this and the ability
to care for them.
Yeah. And so then the next day, it comes up, we're talking about these books. And there's going to come a time I can't protect him. I can't be there with him.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to, as an individual, is to make sure that his life is protected as much as possible.
Insulated.
I mean, we go to church together, and, we talk about it, and every day it's thank you, Jesus, because I think that's what we should do, is thank Jesus, God, for everything, just hallowed be thy name.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So that's another thing about these books. I've seen them. We've talked about it before. I've had nightmares about them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so whatever I can do, while I've been blessed from, people of District 4 to represent them, and I think the people of District 4 have the same insight that Commissioner Val and myself do.
Mm-hmm.
But That's my personal side of it.
Well,
and then I've got some stuff later on about, yesterday was about what kids can do.
Yeah, Boys and Girls Club.
And, of course, I'm on the Boys and Girls Club, and I was chairman there, back for about 3 years, back in 2010, 11, 12, something like that.
Is Mike still working with him?
No, his wife, Nikki, she is actually doing that. And if you don't care, let me run through that before we get on.
Yeah, let's go ahead and talk about that, yeah. Somebody was asking yesterday, what can the kids do? We don't have anything after school stuff, and we do have some things. And that's what Tim's going to
wait till you listen to all this.
All right.
Well, we'll start with the hours first. But when school is in, we operate from the time school dismisses and close at 6. The community center has the gym reserved for us. We're talking about the one in Clinton, from 3 until 6. Any time before those hours or afterwards is open to the public.
Gotcha.
When we're on break, we're open from 7 in the morning until 6 at night. The community center reserves the gym for us 2 hours morning and then 2 hours in the afternoon. All the other times are available for public use. For our clubs that operate elementary schools, we're pretty much at the mercy of their schedules. Oftentimes the gym is not available to us. We have to reconfigure our programming to adapt to other spaces available. Now let me tell you about what all we got.
Gotcha.
Get to that. Anderson County currently has 5 clubs, Ron.
5 Boys and Girls Clubs?
Yeah.
All right.
By August 2026, we'll have a daycare center available as well as a new teen center at Clinton Middle School. In August of 2027, we'll open our new Claxton site. We serve kindergarten through 8th grade students. Now listen to this. Our in-school rate is $40 a week.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And
that's tremendous.
Yeah. Let's see, let me get this. And during breaks, it's $80, like during the summer. And they get 3 meals.
Yeah.
Okay. Limited scholarships are available, as well as support from our state for qualifying families. Some of the programs we run are Smart Moves, which focus on emotional wellness, helping young people develop foundational social emotional skills. That's very important.
Sure.
Healthy lifestyles, which repeats the importance of well-balanced meals coupled with exercise. Power Hour, homework help. Rookie Readers, promoting early literacy for our younger members, K through 2. Sports leagues. We just wrapped up our first season, basketball season, where our 4 area clubs compete against each other. There was no cost to our members. Members of the advisory board sponsor really cool uniforms for the teams. In March, we'll be starting our first flag football league. Cooking Club. A group of our members participate in the opportunity to select and create a theme-based 4-course meal. Lego League. Members are challenged to design and create that uses Legos to teach problem-solving, coding, teamwork through hands-on, and theme challenges. Really strong partnerships with both our local school districts, cities of Rocky Top and Clinton, elected officials, ASAP, and ORNL Credit Union. Our advisory board is very active and passionate about helping our members and get the best possible opportunities. There's a need within our organization. It gets met with the support of our incredible community, and all I have to do is ask, and need is met.
That's good.
Yeah.
So there's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on.
If folks are out there and they want to see if their kid's eligible or get just more information, who do they need to reach out to, Tim?
It would be best to reach out to Nikki Swisher.
Okay. Do you happen to have any contact info for her? All right. What is that?
I'll pull it up here.
Okie doke.
That's 865-805.
All right.
8978.
8978. That's good, because that's one of the things that people were talking about, and they don't know what all that we have.
Yeah,
it's good that we can get out and get in front of it and let them know. And if you need more information on it, 865-805-8978, right?
Yeah, and it's grown so much, because when I was first on there, all we had was no one city clubs.
Well, let me brag on that. I've got twin boys.
Yep.
You know how that is.
I do.
Right? So ours were born at 26 weeks. We spent 81 days in the NICU unit at Children's Hospital. 2 pounds apiece,
Yeah.
So as they grew older, there were sensory issues that we had to deal with.
Gotcha.
Right? And I didn't know much about that. So when they grew older and they would come home from elementary school there in Rocky Top, and I would try to help them with their homework, that was a sight to behold.
I bet.
Because that was not the math I was taught, right?
Yeah.
And I'd get aggravated and I'd get frustrated, and they'd say, Dad, that's not what the teacher said.
That's not how you do it.
Well, Christy, my wife, came up with the idea of putting them in Boys and Girls Club there at the school. I was working, I don't know what time I'm going to get off work at the end of any day.
Sure.
Right? And Christy was working, full time at the sign shop, so she didn't know when she was going. So it was just a perfect opportunity. Within like 2 or 3 weeks, I realized what a huge benefit it was for them to attend Boys and Girls Club. Mike just did the best job you could ever imagine with an organization like that. Mike Swisher's just, I can't say enough about him or Nikki, either one. They were helping the boys with their homework and actually teaching them.
They knew how to do the homework.
Yeah. And the boys would come home and they would already have their homework done. And they would say, they were telling me, no, here, Dad, here's how you do it.
Yeah.
And they would wind up teaching me how that happened. So the social skills, getting over the sensory issues that they had. Now my boys, they're about as social as you can get. Joshua plays guitar, sings, writes his own songs.
Saw him doing it out at down in Powell the other day.
Yeah, and
Wild Wings.
Yeah, and Jesse, I mean, he's a hunter fisherman kind of guy, but the issues that they had before, I can't tell you how much Boys and Girls Club helped with that, getting them prepared to be able to live life.
Sure.
It may sound a little melodramatic, but that's really the way I look at it.
Sure, absolutely.
Same with my daughter.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And it's, again, I don't think a lot of the folks or all the folks that listen to us understand a lot of what we do have available. I need to do a better job of making sure I let people know, and organizations get me the information so that I can get it out to everybody. But Boys and Girls Club is a fantastic asset that we have, and just like Tim just said, I mean, everything from flag football now to all kinds of other stuff going on that the kids can do. And like you said, homework. I mean, gosh, my kids come home sometimes. James David will come home and he's got tons of homework. So it's great to have an opportunity to be somewhere and someone to help them with it. I can't. I'm like you. Trey come in with all this math, and I was like, well, look, 4 + 2 is 6. No, it's not. Yeah, it is. No, it's not. It's the way you're supposed to do it. I'd be like, okay, I'm done. I'm out. Dad's tapping out.
That's
done.
Yeah.
I just couldn't figure it out for the life of me. But yeah. So that's good. That was one of our issues. The other, of course, and one of the reason why you're here is the issues going on with the books and the library board. Ms. Johnson sent me the book that I was talking about yesterday. Charlotte did. That was the first time I'd seen that one, Queer Duck.
Yep.
And the bull and all of that. And so that's what got everything started yesterday. And so where are we with what's going on with the library board? Where are we with some of these controversial books? The last time I talked to Josh, he thought that the solution was put them behind a counter. That's what I heard. But I don't know exactly. Just where are we and what's going on? Let's start with
that. Let me start with kind of the history for those viewers, listeners who may just be coming in on the tail end of this issue.
Sure.
One of our constituents called, this I guess it was 3 years ago now, maybe 3.5 years ago, and said, have you heard about these books in the library that's promoting LGBTQ
lifestyle?
And he said they're being shown to children. Was this complaint? I was like, let me call and check on that. So I called the chairman of the library board at the time, which was Josh. And he said, no, we're aware of that. We're looking into it. The law director's got them. He's going to opine, give us an opinion on, if they're illegal or not. He said, come to the next meeting. So went to the next meeting, and Jay Yeager, God rest his soul, said, these books may not be liked, but I don't think they crossed the threshold of breaking the law. It was Grandpa's Cabin, I think, and something else. All right. So I called our constituent back and said, here's what happened. He's like, well, I still don't like it. I said, I get you. I don't like it either. But right now, I don't know what we can do. I'll look into it. We'll see what else we can do. I think it was the next county commission meeting, a group of citizens show up, and they've got poster boards up so that we can see. And under appearance of citizens, they have found more books that ain't Grandpa's Cabin. Those were books that were actually showing people in a sexual act.
Yeah.
And giving suggestions on how to do certain things and what to do and how to find other people and all this stuff. And I'm sure you were the same way that night. I remember it shocked me. Mm-hmm. It shocked my conscience to see that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, these are not the books that I told my constituent was okay.
Yeah.
So I immediately called our constituent back and go, hey, something new's happened, right? We're looking into this now. And, of course, as everybody remembers, there were two basic camps. There was one that says these books ought to be removed. There was another camp that said, no, leave them alone. And that controversy went on for a while. I don't know how many meetings.
That's been going on a while, a couple of years.
Yeah. I mean, we had several public meetings, the library board meetings. I can remember some when they got real heated. I mean, it was too basic. I ain't even going to say a religious belief, although my religion certainly plays a part in it. It was two sides.
Core beliefs that just, you know what I mean? There wasn't a whole lot of wiggle room, it seemed.
Right. And so finally, after so many meetings, the library board came up with I'll call it a compromise policy. And I'm going to use the term policy emphatically because we're going to come back to policy in just a second. They adopted a policy that said, okay, these books we're going to put behind the counter. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
We're going to put the dust sleeve up on the shelf. All right? That way a child can't walk into the library, look at the book and look at the pictures.
Okay.
In order for that child to get that book, mama or daddy
brings the dust sleeve,
has to be standing there when the librarian allows the child to have it. Now, I've got my own personal beliefs about that, but if you're a parent that thinks that's okay, just like you said yesterday, whatever. I certainly wouldn't, all right? But understand that was the compromise policy.
Seems relative. I mean, it's fair to a certain degree,
right.
and don't like it. Nobody's happy.
Right.
And that's usually the best kind of policy.
Well, my thought on that is if you got that dust cover there and they've got a cell phone, they're going to look it up.
Well, sure. Bloop.
Yeah, because,
sure.
What happens in a child is they're challenged.
Oh, yeah.
When they see that and they say, I'm not supposed to do that.
And then they immediately want to do it.
That's how I was.
Just forward to it.
I still am.
Yeah. So time goes by and everybody seems to be under the impression that this policy has fixed the issue.
Gotcha.
Right? So time goes by and it's time for new appointments to the library board.
Yes, sir.
County Commission votes for me to be on the library board, and I'm glad they did.
Yes, sir.
I appreciated them doing that. So I get on the library board, and of course there were people raising their eyebrows. I got a lot of criticism. What's he going to do? He's going to go in and do this or do that. And I consider myself a reasonable person. Others may disagree. My wife may disagree. But I consider myself a reasonable person. So we start attending the library board meetings. We get a letter from Trey Hargett, from the Secretary of State.
Mm-hmm.
He apparently sent it to every library board in the state, to my understanding.
Which he's over the library.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. And some people misunderstood or didn't know what the letter said. There was a lot of fear from the book advocates that the letter said, take them out of the library.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what the letter said. The letter said, make sure books such as these, and I'm paraphrasing, make sure the books such as these are not in your children's sections. That's basically what the letter said. Go and review your library.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, there's some controversy on when the letter was sent and when our library board was made aware of it. There's some debate on that. The first letter was dated September. The library board was officially notified of the letter in November.
Okay. Gotcha.
That could be a side issue if somebody wanted to talk about that. But when we saw this letter, we said, okay, So we need to go through and make sure that these books are not in our children's sections.
Yes.
Well, some library board members said, "Oh, we got that policy in place. That's took care of this." But still, Trey Hargett's letter said you need to fill out this form and send it back in, showing what books you may have found, what you did with them, such as documented evidence that you did it.
Yeah.
Right? So we talked about that, and then during that meeting, one board member brought up the fact that when all this first started 2 or 3 years ago, Jay had opined under state law.
Yeah.
There's 2 kinds of people. There's adults and there's children.
Yes.
Period.
Mm-hmm.
18 and over are adults. 17 and under are children.
Gotcha.
Only 2 categories you got. All right? Well, the library system, and I'm not going to say just our library system, probably every library system, has divisions of children's sections. They got, preteens, they got teens, they got young adults, they got all these different categories.
Yeah.
So then one of the board members was, okay, so when it says don't have them in your children's sections, what does that mean for us?
Under 18.
I asked our law director to give us a new, updated opinion on that, and he basically opined the same way Jay did. Under state law, you're either an adult or you're a child. Okay?
Yeah.
So at the last library board meeting, we got a motion passed that said there's only 2 sections in the library now, adult, children.
Good.
We got that. Common sense, right?
Yeah, seems like it.
Goes along with state law. It ought to make perfect sense to everybody. Now, there was some debate on how you set the sections up to comply with the policy. Some of the librarians were talking about how difficult that would be to totally have, there's so much space between the adult section and the children's section, how that would work. So
logistics.
Yes.
That's, yeah.
And we entrusted the librarians to be able to take care of that.
Okay.
A couple of days ago, I got a picture of that book
in the children's section. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then I found out there may be 2 books that have been dated all the way back when this started 2 or 3 years ago that are still
in the children's section.
That's
what I'm hearing.
So I went to the Clinton Library yesterday, and I said, I need to see these 2 books. And I was told, we've already pulled those. I said, oh,
cool.
Good. Somebody's already came in and complained about these books, right? And I was told, no, this is where we're going through and reviewing for the Trey Hargett letter. Okay. They said, do you want to see the books? I said, yeah. So we go back. Sure enough, the books are back in the back room on the cart. I said, what section did you get those books from? Teen section. I said, so they were in a children's section of the library.
No, teen.
That's exactly
what they said.
I know. And I said, wait a minute. We just passed a motion at the last meeting that is either adult
or children.
Okay? By that, these should be in the adult section. So then the debate was how well that couldn't take place. And I'm like, no, that's not what the intent of the library board was when they passed this the other night. These should be in the adult section. So leave them on this cart until we can discuss it. And then I was asked, well, what are we going to do with the other ones?
You didn't know there were other ones.
What other ones? Well, the ones we've already found that, we got to fill out the form and send in to Trey Hargett's office. I said, where are they? Well, we put them back out on the shelf. I said, Well, what do you want me to do with them? I said, I want you to pull them back off the shelf and put them on that cart until we can discuss them.
Yeah.
So here's my theory, Ron, based on all of that. And I hope I'm wrong, but I'm worried I'm right. This policy
is not being
adhered to.
I know it's not. Or else I wouldn't get pictures of people in the children's section with that disgusting crap in it. I'm worried that it was smoke and mirrors and that it was just to appease those. Okay, what kind of bite does the Secretary of State have? And if he tells me to do something and I'm under his authority and I say no, he just laughs at it?
Cut funding.
Well, then cut funding. Yeah. That's exactly what I'd do. I'd say, if your library has these books, the Anderson County Commission is not going to give you another penny. I mean, what else can you do?
So on that note,
if they don't follow the rules.
On that note, it was also brought up at the last meeting. There wasn't a motion or anything made. It was just discussion. Back in the 23-24 fiscal year, we changed the amount of money that the library system got off the tax rate. They were actually getting more money on off the tax rate than EMS was.
Than our paramedics and life-saving first responders.
Yes.
Okay.
And Tyler Mays, and I'll pat Tyler on the back for this. This was his motion. He said, I think that sends the wrong message about our priorities here in Anderson County. Let's flip that. Let's give EMS what the library board got, and they'll get what EMS used to get. And that passed. I don't think there was even any debate. Do you remember if there was debate on that? No, I don't think there was. So at the last meeting, it got brought up that we ought to readdress that. And I made the comment, and again, this wasn't a motion, but I made the comment. I said, well, you can bring it up if you want to, but I'll certainly be a no vote on that.
Sure.
I think that's just common sense, that the people who are in charge of saving the lives of our citizens are getting more money off the tax rate than our library system does. Not to say that our library system isn't important.
No.
But if we had to rate them up.
If you had to pick one that you couldn't live without, it's EMS, literally.
So with that in mind, you would think if the library system is really worried about funding, they would worry about obeying the Secretary of State's directives on this so they wouldn't lose the funding that sent them.
The Secretary of State can act on that with or without our county commission, can't they? They can say, the state of Tennessee is not going to send you any more money till you comply.
Yes, absolutely.
And are we in jeopardy of that if they continue to thumb their nose at the Secretary of State?
I would be worried so. Absolutely.
So what happens if they do that? You just fire them and close the library?
That's a good question. At this point, I need to bring it up to the board, of course.
Sure.
It ain't the Shane Val show. Sure. I'd have to bring it up to the board, and I appreciate commission support on what we're trying to do. But we would really have to, I think, maybe shut down the library for a week or so and do a hard target inventory, not just with the librarians, but with maybe board members to comply, to make sure we're complying with this letter.
Where's the rub, Shane? I mean, it's one thing to say we want the books taken out, thrown away, burnt. I don't think anybody, I know some people want them completely gone or whatever, but reasonable folks are going to say, all right, at the very least, let's get them in the adult section. Let's have our phones, we have two-step authentication so that people can't take advantage of you. So why is that a bad thing? Every single librarian that's arguing with you has it on their phone, but they don't want to do it for our kids in these books. What's wrong with that? So where's the pushback coming, and why? What's the reason?
Piggybacking off what Tim said, at the heart of my decision-making is my religious belief, my Christian beliefs. All right? And I've heard, well, you shouldn't let that influence your decision. Yeah, I should.
Absolutely. It should be the basis of everything you do every day of your life. We carry it with us
everywhere we go.
Absolutely.
I don't carry my beliefs in a suitcase and set it down outside the courthouse door.
Yeah.
And pick it up when I walk out. Tim don't do that.
I know.
I know many other commissioners don't do that. It's going to be the basis of just about every decision that I make.
Yeah.
The protection of the children is a part of that belief. Just like Tim said,
let me ask you this. Okay. What do the people that are for this, what do they see? What is positive in their opinion toward what's the positive outcome they think that having this information will bring to our kids, thus our population in Anderson County? What do they want to accomplish by having it? I don't understand.
The arguments I've heard in the past, and we haven't gotten that far since I've been on the library board to rehash the arguments, but the arguments from the past was some parents don't adequately teach their children about sex education. Therefore, there need to be books available to them at the young ages in order for them to read the books and know about proper sex education to keep from teen pregnancy occurring, to keep from sexually transmitted diseases. I've heard every excuse in the world of why these books are justified in the library. Have you heard similar ones?
Some of the kids are so young they can't get pregnant. They're not even of...
And it goes back to my opening statement, Ron. Most families, both parents work.
Absolutely.
And it's hard for them to get home in time. So there's a lack after school, in between. That's why this Boys and Girls Club thing's so important.
Yeah.
To bridge that gap.
And there's and you've heard, and I've heard other people talk about it, is the Clinton Library has become a place for the kids, babysitters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And some of the other libraries. But, mostly, it's been mentioned about Clinton.
Well, they caught two 14-year-old juveniles having sex, in the Clinton Library while it was open.
So it goes all back to, it takes two to make it work.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a time in between. So what do? We have an opportunity to make it a little bit more secure for someone's child. How many parents do you think, their kids went in there and they've read these books, they don't know it, and if they found out they did,
they'd go through the roof.
Exactly.
And when we first started this 2 or 3 years ago, I went to the Clinton Library to take a tour, to look around, and I said, "Where's your adult section?" And they said, "It's up those stairs." I said, "Okay." So when a child walks into the library, how old does it have to be before you just let him go walking through the library by himself? Well, they got to be at least 12. I said, "All right, so how do you determine that?" We walk up to him and say, "Hello, how old are you, little boy?"
Mm-hmm.
"Well, I'm 11. "Well, I'm sorry, you can't come in without your parent, okay?"
You can't go into the section.
Can't come in at all without your parent.
Okay.
What do you say if they're 12? "Oh, they can go anywhere in the library." I said, "Even up those stairs to the adult section?" "Yeah, because we feel if their parents are okay with them coming in the library, they're okay with them seeing anything." I said, "So if that child, 12-year-old, were to walk up those stairs to the adult section, you wouldn't stop them?" No.
And there's more than the books we're talking about in the adult section. There's adult books.
Absolutely. And that's what I was told. Mm-hmm. So the idea of having the dust cover on the shelf would seem to think that would solve that problem. Because even though they're under 18, they've still got access to everything in the library. The incident you were talking about just a second ago, the two 14-year-olds, I'm sure they weren't right there inside the front door.
No.
Where the children's section
tucked away somewhere.
Yeah. So there's several layers of this onion that we're peeling back to try to get to the core, to try to fix the problem. That's a very good point, though. A lot of parents probably have no idea about this issue. I think they're getting educated now, but it's become a daycare for them, when school lets out until the parent can get off work to go and pick them up.
Well, good news, too. I mean, the city of Clinton is remodeling the old armory. That's going to be the Boys and Girls. Boys and Girls Club to do that. They're going to have childcare both for city, I think some of the plants, and for, parents that need it. So it seems like we're making some progress.
We are.
And just like Tim was talking about all these programs with Boys and Girls Club, I don't think there are opportunities and places for your kids that are safe and that are positive that they can learn.
Absolutely.
A lot of parents just don't know. So that's one good thing out of this that I hope people know, and they can look more closely into the Boys and Girls Club. The other thing that I just don't understand, and I know some of these folks that are involved. I just don't understand what the end objective is. Now, you tell me something. I mean, kids grow up and they believe in Santa Claus, and that's fine, and we let them do that. I just don't. At some point, you don't keep lying to your kids about Santa Claus. There comes a point when you have to make a point. And so I just don't understand what they're trying to get to with these kids. I mean, they need to be kids for as long as we can let them be kids, because the world sucks. And when they get old enough to have to be in it, it's just like you talking about Colton, sitting there watching. I can remember my boys. We go to these, and just, you're right. My granddaughter, she's 3, and it's the same thing. They're just awesome. clean, pure. Yeah. And I just don't understand the necessity. Yeah, when those kids get up and they're in high school and hormones and all that stuff starts to go, it wouldn't bother me much when we do have sex education classes. We had them when I was in school, when you were in school. Mm-hmm. And so we've got that. I just don't understand the the authoritarian position of it's got to be this way. They've got to see these books. Everybody needs to know how to, do this. Everybody needs to be exposed to homosexuality. Everybody needs to be exposed to transgender so they can decide if they're really a boy or they're really a girl. No, they don't. That's foolishness. That's deception and foolishness. We don't need, and you know what? You can take a boy and a girl. Watch Blue Lagoon if you don't believe me. You put them out by themselves. They'll figure out how to procreate.
That's an old movie. You're telling your age.
But I'm just saying, they'll figure out how to make babies.
And of course, now this is going to be a controversial statement, but the majority of the people that has talked to me that is for the books, pro the books, don't have children or grandchildren.
That makes a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, I talked yesterday.
You have these experiences. I'm not going to say it's so much you have wisdom with age, you have experience with age.
Yeah, you can draw on that experience. Makes you a little wiser, as you don't make the same mistake. I just, for the life of me, can't figure out why so much pushback. It just seems like it would have been easy to say, you know what? They're controversial. We'll set these back. And somebody, somebody has said, I've mentioned when Josh called and said, well, the Bible could be controversial, and you set that back too. That's, what? Maybe if you really want to dig that deep and pull circumstances out, but I don't recall it.
The same argument was made. I forgot in what meeting I was in. They were talking about Hitler Mein Kampf.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, maybe if we had access to that book before Hitler did what he did, we would know what he was thinking, and we would be able to counter what he did and prevent World War II from happening. That's apples to oranges.
Sure.
Okay? I'm talking about books, you mentioned it yesterday, that had graphic pictures of a penis in a kid's mouth.
I know. I showed it on TV and almost got in trouble.
I'm not talking about reading something and trying to visualize in your mind what the words are trying to convey. I'm not talking about that. So for Josh's argument to hold water, you're talking about somebody who would actually have to open up the good book and start reading. Totally different issue than I'm talking about a child
looking at a picture.
Yes. And I agree with you on that. I don't understand why that's so hard to wrap your mind around. It's almost like it's indoctrination, really.
Well, it is. And anybody that don't believe that is foolish. It's not only indoctrination, it's grooming kids is what it is. And I got in trouble last time I got on this before yesterday. I got in trouble yesterday too, but I don't care anymore. If we're going to we have that segment of society, like it or not, whether they're right or wrong, indifferent, whatever. I've said it before, I can live and let live what anybody does with their private life.
I'll pray for them.
I don't care. Absolutely. Absolutely. But when it comes down to kids, anybody that fights that hard to have controversial information in front of the kids, making it like these kids have the right to have it. They don't. They don't. My dad used to tell me, you think you don't like the way I do it? It's my house, my roof, my rules. You don't have a right to anything until you're 18.
I was told that even when I still lived at home and was over 18.
Yeah, me too. If I stayed at my dad's house today, I'd obey the rules or leave. Take my word for it. But for the life of me, I've not heard an argument that I have said, okay, that's gave me any kind of pause to understand the side that says this must be shown, available to our children. How did we make it through life, procreating and having babies before people started publishing this smut? Huh?
We figured it out.
Yeah, we did, didn't we? And we didn't have to teach, again, I'm not going to say that I wouldn't be as offended if it was just talking about heterosexual sex, because that's offensive too at that age.
At that age, absolutely.
But I could find a way to justify by saying, they're going to grow up, they're going to have babies, they're going to learn about it. I wouldn't want them to learn about it that soon, but you could find, you know what I mean? You could say it's applicable in life when you get older, but to teach kids, I know you're attracted to little girls, little Bobby, but look, you can love little boys too. It's like, why plant that seed?
Yeah. So you made a good point a minute ago when you were asking what's their side to try to justify this. Well, some parents don't do a good. Okay. That's still not government's job.
I agree.
And the library system is part of Anderson County government, okay? That's still not government's job, and I think that's a problem. We think that government should be involved in stuff that it shouldn't.
Oh, that's... Yeah.
Now, granted, the whole reason why we got involved in this is because a constituent called and asked us to look into it, right? But the fact that a parent, if they're going to use this as an excuse, if a parent doesn't want to do their job,
sure,
that still doesn't justify them providing the books to the children for them to be able to learn that way from the library system.
I agree.
It's a parent's job to decide, just like you said, at what age we teach our children about sex.
Sure.
And if they want to go that far, which
the parents can go get the book and read it too.
He can go to the He can go to the adult section.
Sure.
And check it out.
And take it home and read it to little Betty or Bobby.
Yeah.
And I believe that's how it should be. And although I wouldn't agree with that, I would say, you know what, that's your kid, and if that's what you want to do, it's yours.
It takes the choice away from the adolescent, from the child.
Gives it to mom and dad.
Like it's supposed to be. Law even says that. When you go to court, you're responsible for that child no matter what he does until they're 18.
Yeah.
So we are responsible for that child until they're 18.
So does the librarians think that mom and dad are so, they're so podunk hick, they don't know, and these very progressive librarians are so much more astute to teach our kids about it. It's almost like they don't like or believe in the parents, and we know you're not going to teach them this because you go to church and you don't believe in it, so we're going to here because they need to know about it. You're wrong, we're right, so we're going to do what we want to do because we're the government and your kids have to come here after school.
I think they believe so much in free speech, and
that's not free speech, though.
I agree.
The person that wrote that book has wrote that book, and they can have it out. They can sell it to everybody. It's not against the law. It can be in the adult section. That's not free speech.
Yeah.
It's not. It really isn't.
And let me emphasize, I don't think all of the librarians. We got 4 librarians.
I know. I say
it's maybe 1 or 2 in particular.
Yeah.
And I have the utmost respect for their education.
Sure.
I do. I couldn't do that job.
And the fact that they spend their time with children. Absolutely. and they have a heart to better kids. I know that for a fact of the ones I know.
Yep.
Yeah. 90%. It's about the placement of the books. They're there and they're teaching the children too. But we need to take. That's an adult decision, and it needs to be in the adult section.
The policy needs to be followed, or they need to be removed.
Well, there's a wave of, I don't even know what to call it, sweeping the country. I mean, where we've got schools that are allowing children to identify as a different sex and making policy that the parents aren't to be brought into it. And this, it's going on today as we speak, and not here, but in school systems across the country, there are, where the kids are allowed to identify at school. They come to school looking like a boy. They go to the bathroom and put on their stuff. They look like a girl. Now they're identifying as a girl, and the school's not supposed to tell mom and dad or alert mom and dad or anything else.
We had a very tragic situation, and Commissioner Val knows about it. We can't speak about it, but as a result of all this, very tragic recently.
Tragic in so much as a employee or teacher, or tragic something happened to a kid.
Child.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I know we just had somebody suspended in our school system.
Oh, this is
okay.
Yeah, tragic.
So, at the end of the day, how do we come to a reasonable, because even though I would like to say, put them up, lock them up, we don't need them. I know that's not going to really happen. But how do we come to a reasonable agreement with people that think differently than we, so that we all can get along, live together, continue to say hello to each other at church instead of being mad, and still protect our kids, but have this available if somebody does want to get it and do it?
Well, I think
just move them to the adult section and let it go.
That would be the solution that you're suggesting. But now, knowing what I know over the last few days, I have reason to believe that policy has not been adhered to.
So what is your responsibility as chairman of the library board, and your responsibility as a commission that funds that, when they just thumb their nose at Trey Hargett, the Secretary of State? You guys are you okay? You going to let them get away with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nope.
So because that comes back to the county. They're not going to call the librarian. They're going to call the county mayor, county attorney.
Just like you do your parent.
Yeah.
When you're underage kids.
Yeah, they don't call the librarian. They call the person that's over the librarian, which is you guys. They call mom and dad.
That's exactly
you
right.
guys control the purse string, so they call you. So what happens? Let's say our library don't do it. What does the state give you guidance on what to do?
Well, I'm sure they would, but we also have a very fine human resources department that helps us with, employee disciplinary issues, stuff like that. Work real well with them. We have a county law director, our county attorney,
Jamie Brooks,
right, that gives us legal advice of, here, I think you're on legal ground if you do this or not. So all of that now is going to be discussed, because my issue, again, is this policy that supposedly was going to solve the issue has not been adhered to. In addition to that, the library board just passed, we got 2 sections in the library, adult and children, and that's it. So that apparently hasn't been adhered to. So at some point, you got to look at it and go, a policy's supposed to be what an employee abides by in order to do their job each day. So when somebody says, yeah, I understand that policy, but I choose not to abide by it.
Well, then they're quitting their job. Or getting fired. I mean, that's what we do here.
And remember, I think even when the sheriff was there, we're talking about it, they're cartoons.
Yeah.
To me, it don't matter. Whether it's a picture, it's a cartoon, it's the same thing.
Don't matter. Yeah.
And I think that was one of the legal things they tried to say. Is that
because they drew it. It wasn't a photograph.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't a photograph, it didn't necessarily qualify as pornography.
That goes into your mind.
I know. It's the same thing.
Yes.
It's the exact same
and that's looking
thing.
at it from, the legal standpoint versus the political moral standpoint, right?
Yeah.
And that's what we're discussing here today, is what do we do as a governing body to protect the children? What do we do? And that's what we're going to figure out. We're going to figure it out.
Yeah.
I promise you, we're going to figure it out.
The sheriff's behind 100%.
Oh, yeah.
Every child, every citizen.
I know. Absolutely.
So I know he caught a lot of flack, but that's the way that law.
Well, he couldn't. He said he couldn't find his way through to see where it was in breaking the law.
Yeah.
But if they took it and set it out on the get and go stand, it would be breaking the law. So I don't understand how being in the library makes it legal, being at Joe's place makes it illegal. I don't get it. It's either illegal or not. Yeah. But he did say he had to make a distinction about the law. Yeah, it was tough. And Russell, as the person, is against it. So he caught slack from both sides. he couldn't make it illegal, so a lot of us said, hey, got aggravated. And he said he didn't like it, so a lot of them got aggravated. Yeah. So he just made everybody upset, which is, again, usually you're coming to the right decision when nobody's happy.
And you're talking about a guy who's been a cop for a long time.
Yes, sir.
I mean, he knows what he can and can't do, and it don't cross the threshold. Then our legal system basically says, no, you don't make an arrest. You make sure.
I just find it absolutely hypocritical that we can put that out and say it's not illegal, but if I show it on TV, it's a federal.
When they came to county commission, they held those things up.
I know it was embarrassing. Wasn't it?
Embarrassing. It sure was. If you'll go back and watch that video, it's on YouTube. You hear a couple of the commissioners gasp.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I had the books. I don't have them anymore, but I had them stored back here because 2 years ago it was a big deal, and I needed
we had the debate up here on the show.
Exactly.
It's books like Jimmy Birch writes.
Yeah,
that's what I go and I read with my grandson.
Good. Keep it like that.
Jimmy's got some talent.
Yeah,
he really does.
He really does. So. From here, what? You go back to the board and say, this isn't being adhered to? Do you give an ultimatum? Do you revisit it?
We're definitely going to revisit it. If that policy isn't being adhered to, then that opens the door for a total reevaluation of it, to revamp it if we need to, or just emphasize the fact that BIT as already passed needs to be adhered to.
Or can you give a number of days and say, if we come in this library after June 1st or whatever, and we find a book, you're fired?
I hope so. That's something I want to look into to see if we can. I hope so.
Okay.
I hope so, because I think you're absolutely right. We've been dealing with this now
4 years, three years?
At least 3.
Yeah.
Maybe longer. And it just upsets me. And I know it does, Tim, whenever an issue is brought in front of county commission that lingers on and we keep having to talk about before we get to, you kind of makes you feel like you're spinning your wheels.
You are.
But at the same time, you also want to make sure that all issues have been discussed about the matter and you're making a solid decision that'll be a final one. So you got to weigh that out. But this one, I think, has gone on way too long.
Well, and those of you that are in authority over it, whether it be with the purse strings or implementing the policies, I think that's at the end of the day, that's whose shoulders it's going to fall back to, and nobody is in a rush to give somebody an ultimatum that if you don't do this, we're going to fire you, or if you don't. But if we've got 3 years of history of trying to work it out, and no matter what the solution is, if it don't meet putting them out and telling everybody about it, they don't adhere to it, then let them go.
Well, we didn't have the guidelines as stringent as we do now.
Gotcha.
It's either adult or children.
Gotcha.
That goes into the adult section. The last 3 years, we really didn't have that.
Okay.
We didn't have that to go by. And this is a library board decision. That library board has changed. It's more conservative.
I found that out yesterday.
It's more conservative. And so now we've got a guideline. The library board will make those decisions. And then it will be up to county commission to support the recommendation from the library board, just like it is every committee in county commission.
Right.
Every decision from a committee is gone to full commission to make the full decision.
I don't think people understand too. You guys have tons of committees, subcommittees.
Sure.
These aren't just knee-jerk reactions. That's what we're talking about 3 years into this. You guys go through a lot of this and try and find solutions that I guess appease everybody. I don't know that there's a solution. It seems like the lines are pretty clearly drawn with all of this. I don't know that there's any appeasement. If it's just not, I think sometimes if they have their way, they'd broadcast it on the side of the building, so that everybody driving by would see it too, because for whatever reason, it seems that there's a group of people that just believes that needs to be a prominent part of our education, and I don't understand it. Maybe I'm, maybe I'm behind. I'm in the dark ages, but I just don't understand the need for it. I don't see a kid being in distress because they haven't learned. They haven't learned about homosexual sex yet. I don't see that causing them a big problem in life, because they don't know about it. Maybe I'm wrong. It's a difference if you don't know about nutrition or you can't read. There's a lot of things our schools teach our kids have to have. I'm not so sure this is one of them.
I understand a teacher at the high school teaching my boys history.
Sure.
I understand them teaching them algebra. I understand even teaching them English.
Sure.
Because Lord knows I probably don't use proper English all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I get that. It is not their job at the school or at the library to teach them about sex education.
I agree.
I'll decide that. That's my job.
I agree.
That's what I do.
Like I said, we had, I think it was called reproductive health, and it was part of our science class. I'm going back to maybe 8th grade, maybe freshman year. I can't remember, but I remember we had it.
Mm-hmm.
Still didn't have any pictures. None.
Nope.
We went through the whole class. I don't remember seeing one picture. But, it was discussed, and our teacher talked about it. And I'm pretty sure it was Ann Higginbotham is who I went through it.
I think David Kesterson taught ours at the middle school.
And so, you still got the kids and the whispering and the laughing and the goofing off and the stuff that kids do. But at the end of the day, it's educational. It's it's human nature. It's our biology, how we work. So I just outside of that, I don't understand why we need all the window dressing, all the rest of it, all of the ways that we have taken that sex between consenting adults and something that given to us to procreate and turned it into what they've turned it into, and that needs to be promoted with kids. I just don't see it.
Times have changed, and we're pretty close to the same age. I'm a little bit older. If you'd have seen a book like that anywhere.
Oh, I can remember as a kid somebody bringing like a Playboy to school. Yeah. Oh my gosh! Oh, and you could always tell what was going on because there was about 40 guys, in one little hub.
Human body. It wasn't anything that was, of course, against all godly
nature. But kids are going to be kids. They're going to gravitate to doing what they aren't supposed to do. And I don't understand. We all did it. We all do. We all got in trouble. So I don't know. I guess I err on the side of caution. I tell people when they come to work, you'll never get in trouble for something you don't say. I don't want people to swear on the air. I don't, right. Just because, if it offends somebody, why would you do it? You don't get in trouble if you don't say it. Nobody's going to call you up and say, why didn't you curse today? Sure. It's just like, it's the same thing, I believe, with this. You just err on the side of caution. It's not that it's not out there, and it's not that it's not available if somebody needs the education to it. It's just I don't think it needs to be thrust upon our kids, whether they want it or not. It's going to be right here where, we're providing this safe space for you at the library, but inside of that safe space, we're going to teach you how you and little Johnny can sleep together. I don't think that that's good. I just don't. It's just me.
Agree.
All right. You want to see if anybody's got any questions? Anybody got it? Nobody's on the phone, but you want to see if anybody? Well, sure. Dave, I will call.
Nobody's calling.
Well, we might have covered all of it, but we'll see. I haven't opened the phone. So 865-457-1380. If there's anything else, is there anything else you guys want to share or talk about that we haven't mentioned, or it doesn't have to be about this commission or anything else?
Ron, we're here personally, but we're here expressing the views of the majority of our constituents.
Yeah.
And we are so blessed to be able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
We're so blessed to represent District 4.
I'm telling you.
It's just, we got so many issues. A lot of issues going on in New River, that area. And people say, why do you put so much time into an area that very few people live? Because they're residents of Anderson County.
For the people that live there, yeah.
I don't care if it's 4 or 4,000.
Mm-hmm.
They deserve recognition. We've got road situations. We've got all kinds of things over there, but we do everything we can for everyone, even all across the county.
I know.
Oak Ridge, Clinton, I've done, Shane has too. Anything they ask.
When I ran the first time in 2016, I was unopposed. I was the only one that qualified for the vacant seat.
I remember.
My father-in-law, Houston, was still living.
Yeah.
And he said, "Come on, boy, we got to go to New River." And I said, "Preacher, I'm unopposed." He said, "That don't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Those people are your constituents just like everybody else in the district, and I want to make sure you never forget about them." We drove to New River and sat over there at Scotty's store for about 2 or 3 hours talking to people.
Yeah.
And Houston was from there.
Yeah.
And I've still got relatives over there. My wife's kin to half the people over there. And that was drilled into my head. You never forget about the people from New River.
Well, the people you represent.
And being from Laurel Grove, I'm right there in between. And Briceville, went to school at Briceville, got kinfolk in Briceville, Freighterville, was on city council.
Yeah.
In Rocky Top. We are not only we're vested in the community.
Absolutely.
I mean, I think that's why that it is so easy to represent our district, is because we are them.
Yeah.
we think that like they do.
Sure.
We talk like they do. We believe like they do.
Yeah.
That's what makes it so easy. Yeah. It really is. It's a blessing.
Well, good. Good morning, WYSH. Welcome to Ask Your Neighbor. Do you have a question or comment for our guest today?
Yes. First of all, I would just like to acknowledge how proud I am of Commissioner Val and
Commissioner Isbell?
Mr. Isbell, yes, for their conservative stance in regards to their religion and how they govern. I have been a longtime user of Clinton Public Library, and I have seen it change so much over the past 10 years. I have had occasion to be there at library board meetings, and the head librarian is very dramatic and just draws significant attention to herself whenever there is a discussion about policy. And personally, I think that if I was working as an employee somewhere and I was breaking the policy, that I would get a warning and a write-up, and then I would get fired if I didn't continue to follow the policy.
Agree.
So thank you so much, Mr. Val, for saying such. But I do believe that some people feel protected because of who they are, and they need to stand to the same principles that anyone else does.
Agreed.
And I'd also like to say that Matthew 18:6 says that we are to protect the children, and if not, then we will be the ones held accountable. And these books, some of these books are totally inappropriate. There is not proper guidance. I don't know what the answer is to all the kids that come there, because there is an age out at the community center for kids. So all the middle school kids go there, as opposed to hanging out in the back outside or something.
Yeah.
But anyway, I just wanted to say that I personally believe that my tax dollars should not go to purchase pornography, and my tax dollars count as much as anyone else's. And that is not book banning. That drove me crazy when this all first started about book banning. It isn't book banning. Books are published. They can go buy them. They can get on Amazon. They can get, they can get on the statewide public library system and get it downloaded if they want it. This is just an agenda that they have, and they are pushing it. And, conservatives and Christians alike need to stand up for their principles now.
Agreed.
Thank you for taking my call. I appreciate y'all so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Better to have a millstone tied around your neck and be cast into the sea than to harm one of these little ones. Yeah. There's going to be a lot of mill rocks. That's all I got to say. Definitely will be. But, all right, guys. Anybody else? 865-457-1380. I'm going to take a quick break, give you guys time to call if you want to, and then we'll come back, see if they have anything to wrap up. And we will wrap up if you guys don't have anything else to add, to ask, to say. 865-457-1380.
My first mistake wasn't running out of cash. It wasn't even maxing out my credit card. My first mistake was not knowing Shylock's Pawn Shop was just around the corner.
Life throws curveballs, but that doesn't mean you're out of options. Shylock's Pawn Shop offers fast cash loans, retail sales, and more. When you need a helping hand, we're here for you. Visit us at 1204 Clinch Avenue, Clinton, or online at ShylockSpawn.com. Remember, Shylock's has cash for you.
Help is just around the corner. Remember, Shylock's has cash for you.
You know there's a better you waiting to be found. Way to go, weight loss can help you turn it around.
Call 865-688
888-7205. You've heard from hundreds of people who have lost the weight and are keeping it off. People who look younger and feel better. 865-688-7205. Way to Go Weight Loss, an anti-aging medical spa. WayToGoWeightLoss.com.
5 locations all over East Tennessee, or WayToGo.com. Finding us is easy. Way to go. Way to go. It's not just our name, it's what everyone will say to you. Way to go.
Find more information at WayToGoWeightLoss.com. Happy New Year from Hammers. Get your new year started off right with new bargains from Hammers. Since 1952, Hammers has been bringing low prices and incredible deals to East Tennessee. The Hammers family will continue to make sure that our store provides the same everyday low prices from your favorite brands in clothing and home goods. We want our customers, old and new, to have the same great shopping experience as in the good old days. So come in and check out our famous brands like Carhartt, Wrangler, Columbia, Simply Southern, and many of the latest Lady Boutique brands at Hammers' low prices. Redecorating in the new year? Stop by and check out our great selection of area rugs and home decor. So before you shop online, stop in at Hammers, Clinton, Sevierville, Halls, New Tazewell, and Wartburg, a hometown retailer that supports the community you live in. Open 9 to 6 Monday through Saturday. And don't forget to check out Hammers' Instagram and Facebook. And remember, if you miss a day at Hammers, you'll miss a bargain.
Jake from State Farm. I'm winning. I finally cleaned my house, so I'm breaking out my new tropical room spray.
Keep winning and create an affordable price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. It's like your own personal paradise.
Ooh, hey, grab me a coconut water.
Bundling, just another way to save with a personal price plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
All righty. Good morning. Welcome to Ask Your Neighbor. Do you have a question or comment for our guest this morning, please?
Yes, I do. There, I want to thank Commissioner Isabel, and I actually started to reach out to Commissioner Val too there for sticking up, and not to change the subject or anything about this sewer chemical situation that we're experiencing up here on Mountain View Road. There, I had a problem with it last night, and I texted the mayor, and she had somebody up here within probably 20 minutes, and they stayed up here a little while. They started to leave, and I guess the smell hit them again. They came back, but anyway, I hope it gets resolved. But anyway, as far as the library board goes, Commissioner Val, I know you're the chairman over the library board. I don't know. I'm having a hard time understanding there how much power you have to be able to change policies or anything, or is that up to Trey Hargett? I don't know how much power you have to be able to change policies, to do anything, and I appreciate you guys coming up there today. I think you're two fine fellers, and I hope that things up in Devonia gets better and they get water up there eventually. And
Should already had it.
Listen to you guys.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, sir.
All right, bye.
As chairman of the board, basically the main function is we just kind of keep the meetings going in order and make sure that everybody gets an opportunity to voice their concerns and their opinions on issues. The way a policy gets changed is a board member makes a motion and says, I want the policy to be this. If they get a second on that, then we have debate and have discussion. After that's over, we take a vote, and if a majority of the board members vote in favor of it, then it becomes policy, and it's supposed to be implemented by the librarians and the employees of the library system. As far as Trey Hargett goes, being Secretary of State, he's able to say, okay, this is a new mandate, this is a new law. I think the letter that he sent out was in reference to President Trump's executive order that happened not too long ago, and Tim, you may know more about this than I do, that basically said there's only two genders.
Yes.
And any book that you had in your library that
said there wasn't,
right, then make sure those weren't in your children's sections. So Trey Hargett was abiding by the executive order of the president, sending it out to all the library systems saying this is what you need to do. And then that's what got this last issue going.
I think maybe what Mike, and I don't want to speak for Mike, but I'll just ask this. As the chairman, though, if it's not being adhered to, you just told us that.
Right.
So what's the difference and why even have it?
I'm going to put it on the agenda for the next meeting, and it's going to be discussed.
Mm-hmm.
This wasn't abided by. We found this out during the time from the last meeting until now. Now, what do we need to do to fix this?
There you go. I'm anxious to hear how that works out. Good morning. Welcome to Ask Your Neighbor. You have a question or comment this morning?
Yes. There's an election coming up in May between Terry Frank and Josh Anderson. Now, Josh Anderson, he believes that all these books should be left in the library. He thinks that the two 14-year-old kids that were having sex in the library, if they didn't have it in the library, they'd have had it somewhere else. But you're looking at books and stimulates and all this other stuff. But I just want everybody to understand that Josh Anderson is for genderqueer, etc., all these books being in the library. It doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, I didn't have to learn how to have sex. It comes natural. It comes natural in the animal world. I mean, why do you want to give people pictures of how to have immoral sex, anti-Christian sex, and all this other stuff at a young age? All it does is destroy their mind. It turns them from being a normal kid to a disturbed kid and causes problems. Just remember, Josh Anderson is for these books. He was over the library for a few years, and he fought to keep these books in the library. That tells me a lot about him. He may be a fine fella as a neighbor, but as running our county, I don't want that. My tax dollars does not need to go to buying sex books. Like you said, if you had them on display in a store or somewhere else, they would be banned. But they can go to the library and sneak in and even have sex. And Josh Anderson thinks, well, that's okay, because if they hadn't had it in the library, they probably would have somewhere else. So thank you all for listening.
Have a good day, sir.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. All right, guys. Phone lines available. If you guys want to call right quick, do it now. Otherwise, I'm going to cut these guys loose. It's 11:30. Anything else that we got going on? Anything in commission that's going on, or in operations, or anything?
What Mike was talking about, and of course, we didn't have much audio in the meeting. Got to go back and watch it again. But I made a statement that in my shop, I have people in there, and I'll be using different types of cutting fluid, or there's a type of heat treating that you do that's actually got cyanide in it or something. Well, they'll come through and I'll say, "You smell that?" They'll say, "Yeah." I said, "Well, don't breathe it." And then you already see their face.
Because they already have.
Because that's what he's dealing with. You smell it, but don't breathe it. What's in those chemicals?
Exactly. Yeah. So we're basically telling them, yeah, you can't smell it, not breathe it, is the point. All right. Anything else, guys? We done?
That's it. We appreciate
the opportunity. Sure do.
Well, I appreciate you.
And hopefully we'll have an update for you here before too long. It's all right with you. We'll come back up and tell you how this story ends.
I would like to. And to invite you guys, the mayor, and I'm going to have Josh up too, not just as a commissioner, but as a candidate. I want to have, I'm not necessarily to debate. I want to get folks up here so they can tell who they are, what they want to do. And then those of you that are already in county government, that's why I say you guys are in authority over us in so much as when it comes to dealing with our taxes, dealing with the policies, dealing with that stuff. And we're to render unto Caesar what is Caesar's. We are, if you believe in the Bible, biblically, you guys are running some of our lives. Part of it,
Sure.
And so it's okay that we want to fuss about it. It's okay that we want to argue about it. It's okay if we don't agree with you or we do agree with you. I just feel like that the more that we can educate our listeners, your constituents, the better off we all are.
Nothing makes me feel better than when we get a phone call from a constituent that says, hey, I heard that this is going on. Explain this to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then they give us their opinion. I'll never forget this. When I was on city council meeting at the time were not televised. The paper didn't cover them. It was usually just the city councilman in the corporate room.
Yeah.
That was it. We passed a motion on Thursday night. Friday afternoon, I'm driving home from work, and I stop at the ShopRite. I think Christian wanted me to stop, pick up a gallon of milk or something. I'm in the store, and a guy comes up to me and says, why did you vote the way you did last night on such and such? And my first thought was, how did this guy
How's he know so quick?
Yeah, how does he even know? This is less than 24 hours. And I got to stand there and explain to him the view on it. But local government, city councils, county commission, that's where the rubber meets the road.
Mm-hmm.
We're directly accountable to the people who we represent. And it ain't like you got to go to Nashville to talk to us or go to D.C. to talk to us. You're going to see us out. Tim, bless his heart, people stop and talk to him all the time at his place of business. I don't know how he gets any work done.
He works till 2:30 in the morning.
Yeah, I mean,
That's the open door policy.
Yeah, and I get phone calls and I try to call them back because I can't always have my phone, where I work, but I try to call them back as soon as I can. But that doesn't bother me.
Sure.
When we're out at a store somewhere, and I know it don't bother Tim, we love doing this. We're grateful that we get the opportunity to do this.
And you want to hear what people want.
Absolutely, yes.
Let me check this real quick. Good morning. You're on Ask Your Neighbor. Do you have a question or comment this morning?
Yes, sir. I just like to say amen to the last comments the two callers had. I support those ideals 110%. The one thing that concerns me is I see a lot of these signs out here representing Josh Anderson, and I think as concerned citizens, this is a type of an individual we don't need to run our county, and it's up to us to get out here and start knocking on some of these doors and revealing to some of these people who I believe have had the wool pulled over their eyes of, who he really is and what he stands for. Because if we don't, I believe a lot of folks are going to push the button for Josh Anderson just because he's a local guy and may have a good old boy kind of, background or whatnot. But I think we as concerned citizens need to get out here and start knocking on doors and letting these people know who he really is.
Thank you, sir. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No, ma'am. Good morning, WYSH. Do you have a question or comment for our guests?
Yes, I do, please.
Go right ahead. You're on.
Oh, you ready for me?
Yes, we are. Go right ahead.
Okay. First, I want to thank Commissioner Isbell and Commissioner Val for being up there and to thank you for doing this.
You're welcome.
But the question I have is, who approves these books? And it seems to me like they're wanting to change the attitude of our children. I'll hang up and listen. Thank you.
I believe that's the heart of the matter. Change the attitude, change the outlook, change the perspective, change the outcome at the end of the day. But, yeah, who does come up with the books that we state?
I'm glad we got that call because this is another issue that the current library board is trying to look at and possibly change. There's two ways that the library systems get books. The first one is the librarians buy the books based on the funding that they receive, whether it be the state, the county, whoever, right?
Sure.
So the way that works is the librarian sends out an email list to all the library board members with all the books that they're getting ready to purchase.
Gotcha.
Okay. The library board, and this is just being totally transparent, the library board is supposed to look up each book.
Gotcha.
Whether it be on Amazon or, whatever resources they have to see what kind of book this is. All right. And this goes to show how fair I think the library board has been recently is if they look at a title and they look it up and they got questions, they'll call the librarian and go, well, wait a minute. I'm not so sure about this book. What about this book? Right. None of the ones that I have seen on the list so far sparked the entrance. I think the book that you were talking about just a second ago about the ducks.
Queer ducks.
I'm pretty sure if I would have saw that title on that list, I'd have went, whoa.
What is this?
What is this, right?
Gotcha.
The other way that books get in the library is if you wake up one day and you say, you know what, my library that I have in my home needs to be updated, and I've got 100 books that I don't want to just throw in the garbage.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take them down to the Clinton Library.
Okay.
And you drive down to the library and you say, here, I want to donate these books to the library. The librarian, depending on how big the library is and the number of books that have been brought in, may have volunteers, friends of the library that they're called, that will go through each book and determine, okay, this one's in good shape, or this one's got mold in it,
gotcha,
or this one's got missing pages, or this one was printed before 2020. There's all kinds of different criteria that may make that volunteer put it in this pile to be sold off for, library funding as donations.
Yeah.
Or to put it on the shelf and add it to the system and say, okay, now this book's in the library.
Okay.
The library board, since I've been on there, just created a new committee called the Donation Committee, and we're reevaluating that whole thing because we're wondering if there is a better way to streamline that process, because according to the librarians, it takes a long time, especially if it's a big donation, right? Some books aren't winding up on the shelf that some people think should.
Mm-hmm.
Some books are winding up on the shelf that others think aren't. Again, the library board gets that list once it's condensed down to what they're going to use. So we're trying to figure out if there's a better way to do that.
If somebody brings a book and they look at it and they decide, nah, we're not going to use this one, that's not on your list though, right?
Correct.
So you don't know if they're throwing out.
That's absolutely correct. That's one of the issues that we're trying to fix right now with this donation committee.
Okay.
One of the ideas that's been brought up is, why even have that donation part to it? Why not just say the funding that they receive will be used to buy books? That way you don't have to worry about 100 books or 200 books coming in at one time that you've got to sort through and do all that.
You mean just where the library not accept donations?
Correct.
Just go to that point?
That's one of the ideas. We haven't debated that yet and passed that, but that's one of the ideas that's been brought up.
And if somebody goes to a librarian and makes a suggestion for a book, it's just like all these audio books that I listen to. You can actually make a suggestion for them to get it.
And they'll try and get it for you.
Yeah, but I want to add one thing. We only have one county library.
That's true. Good point. A good point.
And it's never had any of these books.
So I'm glad you brought that up. Briceville Library is funded totally by the county and the state.
Yes.
Rocky Top, Clinton, and Norris is kind of a combination through a memorandum of understanding between the cities, what they donate.
City, county, state.
Right.
Okay. So the municipalities have they've got some dog in the fight when it comes to it too, because they've got money in it.
They appoint who they want to represent the city's interests on the library board.
How often does the library board roll over?
Josh was on there, I think, for 3 years. I think, is that right, or was he on there longer than that?
Well, sometimes you'll have a commissioner, resign for one reason or another, and somebody will fill their position, and then they can have their term too.
Okay.
So sometimes you'll have, a 4
term and a half, or
I'll have to look that up, Ron, to see how often the cities reappoint.
And so right now you've got representatives from what?
Clinton, Rocky Top.
Clinton and Rocky Top, Norris, and then the county.
Yeah,
we don't do Oak Ridge is it
separate systems?
Gotcha. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
So how many board members are there? Library board members? 8. Okay. So the city of Clinton appoints 1 or 2?
2, I think. I think the cities each appoint 2.
Okay.
The county has 1, and then 1 at large. I think we just started that one. I think.
Okay. Interesting. All right, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for the calls. Thank you all for coming in. I always enjoy it. It makes my life a lot easier when you guys come in and can explain things from your perspective. And again, I think it gives people a lot of
I don't know. Just the more that we know, the more we can have a conversation about it.
Absolutely.
And no matter where it all ends up, as long as we've got the information, at the end of the day, it's going to be us, the citizens, that make the decision. Because, I say this, you guys have heard it. I mean, commission appoints, the cities appoint, and guess what? That's all elected. That's all elected. So, if somebody appoints somebody to be on the library board that is adverse to the very community standards that we live in, then I feel like the city council that voted for that, or the county commission that put that in, either needs to correct it, reverse it, or be held accountable for it.
Right. I'm a firm believer, and I know Tim is too, that we're accountable to the people.
Sure.
That we represent. If they ask us to do something or look into something, it's our obligation to do it.
Well, it's hard though when there are layers. You know what I mean? You're a county commissioner, then you get put on the board, then you got, there's just layers. It's the same thing with like subcommittees and committees.
And that's when you really got to put forth the effort to communicate with people.
Yeah.
And educate them on the issue, and then find out what they want you to do.
A lot of people watch county commission.
Listen to your constituents.
Absolutely.
That's who put you there.
A lot of people
make those decisions based on them.
Oh yeah, no, you have to do what you're told. I mean, that's the whole idea. You're agreeing to be a servant when you go in to serve, and so your idea might be contrary. But if the majority of people want it, it's your job to fulfill what they. You know what I mean? I heard somebody say one time, "I'm going to do what I want to do." No matter what they say, because they elected me to do what I think is right. It was John Reagan said that. He said, and I love John. Yes, I know you do. But I told him sitting right here where you guys were. I said, that you can't do that. Even if we're wrong, if the majority wants it, you're the conduit we hired to get it done or to speak for us.
And in political science class in college, they talked about the trustee form of government versus the delegate form of government.
Yes.
And that's the difference between the two. I'm going to do what my people tell me to do versus I'll do what I think is right and face consequences.
Well, and there are consequences.
Sure.
But I tell people this too, because they'll watch county commission meeting and they'll get mad or excited about it. A lot of those decisions, or at least a lot of the heavy lifting, is done in operations, or it's done in some of these committees and subcommittees, budgeting. And so there's a lot of details that aren't always exposed in the county commission meetings. And if people really want to get involved, go to the committee meeting.
Sure.
Start there.
You're right.
And there's a world of stuff going on in those committee meetings.
Tim taught me that trick right off the bat, is if you pay attention to, especially operations and
budget, absolutely.
They're the two big committees, then you'll know everything that's going on.
Yeah. And you have a much better, I guess, pool of education to draw from when you make your decision as a commissioner to either approve what is being brought out of this committee or send it back.
Yep.
Thanks, guys. I really appreciate you. I love both of you. You're two of my favorite people in the whole world. I don't think I've ever called either of you that you haven't either answered the phone or called me right back. And it didn't matter if I was in trouble or I was mad at somebody else. You know what I mean? And I really do appreciate you. Like I said, you guys are two of my best friends. I tell people all the time, Tim's my best friend, because when it hits a fan, he's who I call all the time.
He's who I call too.
I know.
Our lives do run parallel.
Our lives do run very parallel. Tim and he'll call me and tell me something. I'm like, well, that just happened to me Thursday.
I was thinking the other day, do you remember the first time we worked together when I was working for the newspaper?
I do.
I went to the courthouse to cover a city council race, and this was long before cell phones. I got the numbers from the election commission. I ran downstairs and called you on a payphone on a private line, and you recorded me reading I thought that was the coolest thing.
That was probably that was 1990 something. We had phones. Everybody didn't have them in your pocket. Maybe in the car, the bag.
Bill Davis gave me a roll of quarters.
Bill Davis. Clinch Valley Chronicle. Was that it?
Yeah.
Valley
sure was. It was a good old day.
That was a good old day, and gosh, we did a lot of business with Bill. And I think Jeff lives right across the street from me now, his son. But is Bill still alive?
Yeah.
I haven't talked to him in forever.
He had a birthday party last year. I forgot how old.
Is he still up on the lake?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he invited me to the party, and I didn't get to go, but I wish I had got
I hadn't seen him. I can't remember the last time I saw him.
He's still kicking. I talk to him every once in a blue moon. Well, Boomer passed away.
Yeah, I knew Boomer did. I knew that. But when you see Bill, you tell him I said, hey, appreciate you guys. We'll wrap things up. It's almost noon.
I've got a customer in Oak Ridge that's been down ever since I've been here.
Oh, Lord.
He supports what we're doing 100%. And I tell him I'm on way as soon as we get done.
Go fix it.
Tell him we appreciate him letting you up for a while.
That's noble, man.
And by the way, guys, when you look out at that Blankenship Field, that beautiful wrought iron fence around there, that's Mr. Tim Isbell.
Yeah,
he did that.
Let me
put all of that on
Let me brag on him for a minute.
And that's not it. The Rocky Top fence.
He's the hardest working commissioner we got, as far as not only the meetings and stuff, but the manual labor that he does out in the community.
It's a blessing.
It ain't just meetings. It ain't just meetings.
No, I know.
God's given me a gift to do things like that, and the opportunity is a blessing.
Tim can build anything.
If you can think it, he can build it.
And he can fix it. That's my dad. He fixed my dad's motorhome. So, all right, guys. Have a great day. Thank you, folks. We appreciate you. We'll wrap it up. Call it a day.
Happy Friday, everybody. Sure hope you have a great day. We're going to see a mix of sun and clouds, more seasonable temperatures. We're back into the 40s. It's going to be breezy, but after sundown tonight, a wintry mix and a cold rain moves its way on through, but no travel troubles Saturday morning. Dead battery? No problem. Master Battery now has a mobile installation. Give them a call today, and they will come to you. That's 865-947-1500. Master Battery. They have what you need when you need it. I'm meteorologist Mike Witcher from the East Tennessee Weather Center for AM 1380, FM 101.1, and FM 99.5 WYSH.
Thank you for listening to AM 1380 WYSH and Ask Your Neighbor. Make sure you tune in at 10 a.m. each day, Monday through Friday, right here on AM 1380 WYSH and BBB TV.